Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good morning. Good afternoon and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in good spirits because you know what? Like I always say, another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that. And make today count, all right? Man, we had one hell of a show last night. And there's a lot of reasons why I am going to be able to do some certain things on this particular show. And I'll explain here in a little bit, but we do have some things that we are going to be looking at. We're going to be watching some things as a family, checking a few things out, and I appreciate the ability to do that without any issues. So I will explain everything in just a little bit, but let me just say that there's a lot going on out here, and we got a lot to talk about for sure. So do me a favor, hit that like button down below. If you're watching on other platforms, make sure you hit that reaction button, please and thank you. Do not forget, if you are watching on those other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, hit that follow button. Follow me on all those platforms, please. Let's not forget, let's hit that subscribe button down below on this main channel. Go to my secondary channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Make sure you're subscribed over there as well, because there's a lot of stuff. We just had an update that I just put up about 45 minutes ago on one of the new lawsuits that just dropped. There's new updates on that one already. So go to the Pascal Show Clips. Make sure you are subscribed there. Make sure the notification bells are set to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it is random and the news just keeps on news, and especially revolving around the diddler. All right? Both notification bells set to all. Make sure it's rung and all. Okay? Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Support the channel if you can. That would be amazing. Check out my Patreon. Patreon.com/The Pascal Show. And I have locals, y'all. Locals.com/The Pascal Show. Go check those things out. There's a lot of things that are going to be going on. All right. Especially with some behind the scenes stuff with the holiday special that I'm putting together and everything else. You're going to be able to see a lot of that stuff on Patreon, or if you become Patreon locals, or if you become a member here on this channel. All right. Let's not forget, check out my merch page, which I got something I want to share with you guys. There's a couple things I want to share with you guys. But anyway, check out my merch page. We got some really great Christmas, holiday sweaters and graphic tees, etc. Go check them out. We got some great stuff. So go there, PascalMerch.com. And then, of course, check out that GoFundMe. I got a GoFundMe linked in the bottom and in the description box down below, trying to raise a little bit of money while I'm putting together this holiday special. And I'm telling you right now, this holiday special is so freaking epic. It's bigger than my wildest dreams. I'm telling you right now. I've been wanting to put this together for years. This idea, or at least a version of this idea, and we're just getting started. We're just getting warmed up. So if you can, please hit that GoFundMe down below. A little bit goes a long way, and I'm just trying to bring some Christmas cheer, just a little bit different, instead of us just a show where we're talking about just goofing off and having a good time, and hearing some great things, having a great time with our friends and family and all that stuff. I'm being dead serious. So go check out that GoFundMe, because like I said, we are putting some serious stuff together, and I'm very, very, very hype about it. All right. So make sure you go and check out that GoFundMe. A little goes a long way. Real talk. Please and thank you. All right, guys. Oh, and I'm telling you guys what I have for you guys, what I have in store for you guys for this holiday show. Oh, my dear Lord. Oh, my Lanta. It's insane. And I can't wait to share it with y'all. And you get to see certain sides of me that you guys don't get to see at all either. So I'm really, really excited about it. This is going to be a full-on 3-dimensional special, and I can't wait. It's going to be insane. So please check it out. Check out that GoFundMe. The link is down below. I'll try to pin it to the top of the chat here in just a little bit, but please go check that out. One last thing, okay? One last thing. And then we're going to get into the meat and potatoes, I promise, okay? But we do have t-shirts and sweaters ready, holiday sweaters ready to go right now as we speak. Let me I can't turn that, unfortunately, but we got some really cool t-shirts and sweaters like this one, Big Nick Energy, okay? Go check it out. This one, for example, is available right now on pascalmerch.com and then some. We got some really great t-shirts, hoodies, graphic tees and sweaters and all that. And especially if you're trying to find something that's really unique, that makes you stand out a little bit this year for the holidays, we got some really great stuff. So you're going to be seeing me wearing this very, very soon. But I just wanted to show this to you guys because it's out and available right now as we speak. So go check it out. Again, pascalmerch.com. We got another sweater that's dope. It says ho ho. It was like ho 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 what a year or something like that. Ho 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 what a year. And it's like a skeleton in the middle. It's crazy, okay? And we got everything from if I'm correct, it's XXL all the way down to small. Because V Love is asking what sizes. But go to the website. It says it all right there. I don't need to tell you. All right, go to the website, pascalmerch.com. Go check out the sweater or the shirt that you like. We also still got those hoodies and all that, those vibrant hoodies and all that. Go check those things out. All of that will tell you exactly the sizes and all that, okay? It has all the answers you need right there on that website, okay? Because off the top of the dome, some have different sizes, some are not, so on and so forth. So go check it out, pascalmerch.com. Okay, guys, we got to get into this, all right? And I appreciate you guys letting me just have that moment to promote the business. And people, let me just tell you, though, you guys have been buying like crazy, which has been amazing, and I really do appreciate it. It has not stopped, and it's been amazing. So first off, I want to say thank you to all y'all for all your support and being so dope out there and just liking my stuff. It's wild. You don't think like, wow, these people actually like my stuff. They actually like my stuff. It's weird, but it's dope as hell, right? So I appreciate that. Even so, just so you know, F it, I'm going to tell it to you anyway. We're working on some vibrant socks. Yeah. Vibrant tie-dye socks, and vibrant tie-dye socks. So if you know about my vibrant hoodies, it's the black hoodies, but they're tie-dyed in different colors. All right. We are now doing socks as well. I'm not done yet. Okay. It's still a work in progress, but I'm almost done. We almost have it ready to be out here to share and put it out there for you guys. So I just want to let you guys know, because I know some of you guys are looking for some stocking stuffers. Get it? Because it's socks and stockings. Anyway, you want some stocking stuffers for this season. And so we got that going as well, right? So, again, Black Anonymous, I highly recommend. Like I said, I don't remember everything off the top of the dome. So I highly recommend you going over to pascalmerch.com, go over to the hoodies, whatever hoodie you're looking for, and just scroll through that. Because I think the largest we go is 3XL, if I'm correct, in the vibrant hoodies and all that stuff. But definitely go over to pascalmerch.com, the website. It'll have all the answers for you right there. All right? Okay. Let's get into this. And thank you so much for asking all these questions. Again, check those things out. But anyway, we got some really great t-shirts, hoodies. Go check those things out, pascalmerch.com. Now, here's the thing. Last night, we had one hell of a show. Let's just be completely real. One hell of a show. We talked about a bunch of different things. And then near the end of the show, we were blessed with another content creator. Okay. And that content creator is Lionel B of the Lionel B Show. Now, shout out to Lionel B because he's been getting all these exclusive interviews. It's been earth shattering stuff. I mean, he's been breaking the internet every single freaking interview that he's done. But last night, yesterday afternoon or evening time, he dropped a mind-blowing interview with a Jane Doe. Now, this Jane Doe stepped forward. This is a still from the actual interview itself. Her name is Misha, or at least she goes by the name of Misha. She is a Jane Doe. She's one of the people that said, hey, she stepped forward, said that Diddy did some horrible things to her. And then, of course, let's not forget, there was a lot of other things that she went through as well, even after dealing with the Diddler and Harvey Pierre. Now, I will explain a little bit more about that and Harvey Pierre and all that as well, okay? But she claims that this photo is indeed her. This is the photo, one of the many photos that has been out here that has gone viral a million times, saying that at least in this lawsuit that was filed, that this was a 17-year-old girl that was taken from Detroit. This is according to the lawsuit, was taken from Detroit by Harvey Pierre on a private jet. He attacked her allegedly on the plane. When they got to Diddy's place, he and Diddy and another man allegedly viciously attacked this young woman. Now, this is what the lawsuit claims. There's not much after with what I just told you. Literally met them. She was a junior in high school. That's what this says in the filing and all that. But now this woman claims that that photo that we just saw just a second ago is actually her. Now, she tells her story on Lionel B's show. And again, it is absolutely heartbreaking to think that this could have happened to anyone, that anything that she says happened to anyone. She, in fact, does absolutely confirm that J-Lo did use a bottle on her, broken, to be completely honest. Now, I want it to be abundant, make it abundantly clear. Adria came on to Lionel B's show and was dropping information on about another victim's account, not her stuff. You know, Adria did talk about her own stuff, but there was a moment where Adria was talking about other victims' information, other victims' experiences, and telling their stories. Apparently, this is what inspired Misha, this Jane Doe, to step forward and speak out about this whole thing. Because she thought in her mind, wait a second, no, this is my story. This is my story to tell, not anybody else's. This is mine. So this is what, oh, I misspelled destroyed. Thank you so much. I'll fix it in a second. But this is what actually inspired Misha to step forward and speak out about that, right? So, of course, when you hear her story, which we will be hearing a little bit of it in just a minute, it is absolutely devastating to hear any of it, to be completely real. And so there's something else we do need to talk about, okay? Obviously, I got a lot of questions, and I still have a lot of questions. I had Lionel B surprised us by showing up on the show and talking with me, answering as many questions as he could. We had a really great conversation. I do appreciate his energy. Very positive guy, very good guy, right? But he did answer a lot of questions, but still those questions still linger in my mind. And now, I'm not sitting here saying that I don't believe this victim. I'm not sitting here saying that what she's saying is not true or is her truth or is not her truth. I mean, it just is so devastating to hear anything that is being said by her because it just seems so stranger than fiction, right? And it seems it just is very tough to listen to. Now, one thing I do want to talk about before we get into this, there's been a lot of people, understandably, upset about Lionel B putting up a disclaimer right before he plays the video, the whole interview. And in the video, he says, I'm going to strike anybody who uses my content and puts it out there like this, and there's certain parts of me that I get, like where I get it. Because a lot of times, I'll do interviews or something of that sort, and then another content creator will take the whole doggone interview, repurpose it, and try to make it out like it's their own. It could be very annoying. But unfortunately, that is the internet, and that is just how the game is. And also, I say another thing, too, when it's people who are doing everything they can to tell the story, and then there's people who are using it to just try to rip apart not only just the person who's being interviewed, but also the actual content creator that is doing the interview. It's messed up and disrespectful. So I can see why some people do that. Lionel B is not the only person that has done that. Now, I'm not sitting here like caping for Lionel, okay? I'm not. But I do understand the frustration. I do understand the frustration on both sides, right? I understand, like, damn, like, I just want to watch the video and react to it with everybody. And this is a huge, huge story. And no. I get that. I totally get it. But I think that if there's a way that I feel like there is a way to do certain things without getting slapped upside the head with a strike, right? I think there's ways you can do it, like asking the person, sending out an email, just going, hey, you mind if I just use a little bit and just credit the hell out of you throughout the whole show or something of that sort? There's ways to do that without angering the content creator that provided you the information and anything like that, right? Yes, it's annoying. I agree. It is annoying. Totally annoying. But at the same time, if that's what he wants to do, that's what he wants. There's nothing you can do about it, right? Sure, you can finesse around it. Sure, have fun if you want to do that. But like I said, if that's what the content creator wants, that's what the content creator wants. One other thing I want to say, though, is that it doesn't hurt to reach out and just ask them to just make sure it's okay to use their content. Now, in my situation is a little unique because some of y'all are going to be coming in watching the show right now, right? Some of you guys are going to be watching this show, and you're going to be sitting there later on going, well, how did he get access to the video? He gets access, but I don't. Why not? Well, it's because I got lucky enough for Lionel B to be on the show, and I asked him straight up about it. We talked a little bit about this, about the interview. Well, a lot of bit about the interview. And then I asked him a question. Take a listen to this. And I'm just showing you proof positive that he gave me the okay live on the show last night. Take a listen in this interview. And that's just part one, dude. What?
Part two. I'm going to give you guys like a little sneak peek. Part two, she talks about, this is...
You got it.
Part two, she talks about lines of men, like her and Adria, like, and the way she describes it, it was like the most horrible thing I ever heard. How they were intoxicated, they were under the influence. We'll use better words on here. They were under the influence, and there was just a line of men, and the type of diseases they came in contact with. And
Oh my God.
celebrities like hiding their faces because they want to make sure they were fully out of it and not be implicated. You know, it's a lot, man. Like, you guys make sure you watch. If you haven't watched part one, watch part one and part two. Part two, we'll probably have it out in the next day or so.
That's
give you guys time to digest this one because I know it's a lot.
Yeah, you know, the internet is going to be losing their minds off of that interview, and they are a lot of people like myself. We're all talking about it. You know what I mean? You did put up a don't show it out.
Yeah, man. People be stealing my videos, bro. I don't mind people doing like little small tidbits, but like people be taking my whole video, dude. It's like, come on.
So I'll be okay if I pull up a little video from it. You won't slap me upside the head.
I got respect for you, so yeah, you got my permission, man.
Yes. Awesome. Okay, great. There it is. So the only reason why, because I respect as much as I can any content creator, because, you know, there's content creators, you know, that I don't like, just like other content creators that don't like me. It's normal. It is the world. You can't please everybody. But if somebody goes out and says, hey, here, I'm giving you fair warning. If you use my ish, I'm going to hit you with a copyright strike. If I didn't give you permission, then, you know what I mean? It's like, hey, to each their own. If that's how they want to operate, that's how they want to operate. I get it, though, too, that some people will feel like this is stifling the word getting out there about the victim and what the victim went through. And this could look like just one big old money grab. Sure, I could see that for sure, too. Absolutely. I can see that angle. Okay. And that perspective is not wrong to have that feeling as well. But I also have to say, like, if it sucks, but at the same time, if that's what he wants to do, that's what he wants to do. And that should be fine. Right. But I also will say it's okay. It doesn't hurt to send out a text or like an email or a DM and just saying, hey, content creator, I really liked this video. I really want to react to it or use some clips of it on my show or on my platform. If I give you credit, can I use it? Right? There shouldn't be any problem. And if they say no, then they suck. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, there's other ways around it, baby. There definitely are. Now, I'm not saying, oh, go steal. No. But what I'm saying is, hey, what I would have done if I didn't get lucky enough to have him on the show last night, which is dope. Shout out to Lionel B, Real Talk. Okay. And shout out to him for being so cool to be like, yeah, you can use it. That's fine. But I would have just listened to just an idea for all you content creators out there that maybe are sitting there going like, oh, it's so juicy and I want to use it. There's ways to use it. Write out the bullet points. Tell your people the bullet points. It's exactly what the news does all the time. You think that CNN and Fox News are sharing the same videos? If CNN has some scathing bombshell interview, you know for a fact Fox News ain't using it. All they're doing is listening to it, writing down the bullet points, and then regurgitating it with a still of the person's face, you know, the subject matter's face, and then they do a breakdown of everything that was said in the interview. It's done. You can do the same thing. No harm, no foul. Doesn't hurt the content creators' hard work or anything like that. So just something to think about. Because you can take it still and just go, here's all the stuff that she talked about. She mentioned such and such and such and such. Oh my gosh, clutch my pearls, and clutching my pearls again. You can do that. That's not taking anybody's hard work. But I also highly, highly, highly recommend every single time you are using somebody else's content, you plug the hell out of the show. You plug the hell out of that content creator's YouTube channel or wherever you got it from. That's the right thing to do, period. But I see a lot of content creators that don't do that. They'll overlay people's things on up the content creator's face, only show the person that's being interviewed and try to act like, you know, they just got that information or that video themselves. No, you got it from a source. Be respectful. Quit hiding all this stuff because you're worried about copyright. If you're really worried about it, don't use it. Don't use the content. Real talk. Don't. It's worse if you're sitting there trying to overlay it with logos and stuff like that, trying to make it seem like it's yo ish. It's not yo ish. So give the content creator the respect and the credit that is due. Guy put out the time, show some love. It's that simple. It's that simple. DM, emails. If you're able to get in contact with them, ask them politely. If you can't get in contact with them and they didn't have a disclaimer like that, then use the content, but plug the hell out of their show. Put the link of that video or that interview in the description box underneath your video. Promote that person. This is how this community works. That's just how it is. And it sucks because in the true crime world, especially in the true crime world, it can get very me all the time. I got the exclusive. I got this thing. Nah, I get it, because it's a lot of hard work to do what we do every single day. But it also takes a village too, right? It takes a village to raise and cultivate these channels. So that's it. Be respectful, send out messages, plug the hell out of the content creator's show, and hope that they're good people, not a-holes. Let's keep it real. That's all I can say. But I get it. That sucks. Man, I get it. I was mad too when I heard. I was like, literally, my heart sank, right? But I was very, very lucky to get Lionel on the show. Very lucky. I was one of the lucky ones. If that wasn't going to be the case, the other situation I was going to do was write down the breakdown and go, this is what she said. Here's a breakdown of everything that I saw and what I heard about. And I'm just giving you guys the summary of what I heard in the interview. That's what I was going to do. Just like every other news station that does this. So it's just something to think about, guys. It's just something to think about. Because I know a lot of people are very, sad. I get it. It is sad. It's upsetting. I get how it's upsetting. But find other ways around it without blatantly trying to steal the content. If that person's sitting there going, you're using it without my permission, you're stealing. I myself just got lucky. Didn't even know he was going to hop on the show. You can watch the show. It's from last night. He just popped on and I was able to slip that question in like, sup with that, And he literally said, people are just stealing my stuff and they're reusing it and all that stuff. And he's not getting credit for it. I get it. But he gave me the thumbs up, which I approve. So now that we talked about that and got that out of the way, now that he's given me the thumbs up, which is great. And also, he does break down more of the questions. He answers a lot of the questions that I have about the interview, because again, I had a lot of questions, and still, I'm gonna be completely real. With all due respect, I still feel like the timeline ain't timelining to a certain extent, and there are some glitches in the math. A little bit for the math and for me, but that does not mean that what she is saying is not true or that I don't believe it. That's not at all what I'm saying. But it does feel like there are some red flags. I'm like, oh, I wish there was a way to iron that out just a little bit more, right? So that we can get more of a full, smooth timeline. Because for a fact, any hiccup, all the naysayers are going to go, whoop, there it is. You see what I'm saying? And that kind of sucks, right? But here it is. As you heard, he gave me the confirmation, which is dope. We're going to take a look at some of this. Okay, we're not looking at the entire show. We're going to be taking looking at some chunks from the interview. There is a part 2 and I guess a part 3. I might get a chance to be part of that part 3, which I'm really looking forward to because I have questions as well. He's invited me on to go and maybe ask her a question or two, and hopefully we get that going on. If it doesn't happen, it's all good too. People get busy, but at the same time, there is a 3-parter coming up. So this is part 1 of the 3-parter. So we're going to take a look at some chunks, and I'm going to give you guys a fair warning. This is very tough. What she says, and there's so much she says, and it's just falling out of her like a waterfall. It's just like it is a lot. So T-Dubs, you have been warned. A lot of it, thank God he went through it and he kind of muted a lot of stuff, which I really, really appreciate, because I would have had to go through this thing and censor a lot of stuff, because what she says, what is implied in here is very it's devastating. I mean, it will rock your world, what you hear here. But I wanted to start first with the origin story, with the meeting of Misha, Jane Doe, and Diddler, and how she meets the people through Diddy and them. Again, she dropped some serious names, everyone from SZA to J-Lo to Bill Cosby. Of course, Diddy, Kris Jenner as well. It's some pretty crazy stuff what she says here. And again, just devastating. Absolutely devastating stuff. And I will say this, the SZA stuff doesn't have, it's not like she's implying that she was involved in the stuff. I just want to make that abundantly clear. She just basically says like she grew up and was running around with SZA as a kid. I just want to make that abundantly clear. But without further ado, let's get into this. Okay. Again, I will say this, shout out to Lionel B. Definitely get your tuchus over to his YouTube channel. Go check out his interview in its entirety without interruption. And you can watch the whole thing on his channel. I'll make sure that I pin the link at the top of the chat here in just a minute while I get this thing off and rolling. But here we go. Hold on to your butts.
In your life, and we're definitely grateful to have you on the show today.
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely. So let's start at the beginning. How did you first meet Diddy? How did you get connected with Diddy, and how old were you when you met him?
In the 2000, I was basically 10, 11 is when I lost my virginity. I met him 6th grade that summer or whatever. And I remember SZA, her name is Solange Rowe. I don't know, she changed her name, Solange Rose. She went to Will Middle School in Garland, Texas. She came to that school after the 9/11 happened. And I remember her getting bullied a lot because she used to wear the black turbans on her head. And so I became her friend, and I remember a white boy in the class was like, "Your people did it." I remember standing up for her saying, "My people didn't do nothing. We didn't blow up no buildings." And it was like, "Not you, the people with the things on their head." And I remember she got bullied real bad in school or whatever. And it was to the point where her parents ended up taking her out to school. And I remember her saying that like they were gonna take her name out the yearbook. And I remember her saying, like, so if people don't have the original yearbook, like if somebody go back and go look the yearbook up now for Will Middle School, she's not going to be in it. But if we went to school and like, you know how everybody signed the yearbook, she's in that yearbook. So I'm looking for somebody with so I can just have all my ducks in a row. Somebody that has a picture with her in our yearbook. But her dad was a producer. And I used to write music back then. I got in trouble because I was molested, and the things that I wrote, I got in trouble for it.
Let me just stop right there. First off, I want to make this abundantly clear that she was already a victim before she became a victim of Diddy. So I do want to make that abundantly clear. Okay. I think that's very important to hear, because that, well, one, is devastating to hear, period. Okay. But I think that's another piece that you're going to hear in just a little bit when she interacts with some of these monsters. Let's continue.
And I remember getting beat or whatever for the book, and I used to write composition books. I gave it to her, and she told me her dad was a producer, and I was like, well, ask them, am I gonna get some Grammys for this? Like, am I I'm like, I wanted to be a music artist. I wanted to do music. And she told me that she was gonna get 13 Grammys for the stuff. But her dad made her bring back the book. He brought her and made her hand the book back to me, and she didn't want to give it back to me. But she ended up coming back, and I told her that she can have it or whatever. And but in the midst of doing that, he introduced me to the ghostwriters. The ghostwriter was a Jewish guy with a pointy nose, and I don't know how to say his name, Skalashki. I don't even want to try to remember how to say his name, and it's the wrong thing. But he had like a weird name. I can describe him. He had curly hair, come right here, and it was dark curly, and he had a pointy nose. I remember him coming by, and he was telling me basically like he was a ghostwriter for Clive Davis and them. And I remember him asking me how much I wanted for the books. At first, I was getting like $20, $30 for the books. I didn't know. And then ended up bringing Clive Davis by, and Clive Davis like, give her whatever she wants. So he was like, how much money you want? You can say whatever amount of money. And I remember saying $500. I don't know. I'm a kid. I say 500. And every time he gave me the money, I gave that money to my grandmother.
Okay. So apparently she was, I guess, at a very young age, a very talented songwriter. And she was writing copious amounts of, I guess, lyrics and things in composition books like this one right here. You know, you see them in different, they're in different colors all the time now. But I mean, back in the day, they were always like black, right? But I mean, you know, I write a lot in these kinds of books all the time, right? They're cheap. They're cheap, easy to, you know, if they get destroyed, no big deal, right? But she allegedly is saying that she was getting paid per notebook. And this is how she was getting introduced to Clive Davis and them through SZA and SZA's family and all that. This is what she's claiming. Just so you guys know, just to break that down. She was getting paid not a copious amount of money for her talent, but she was writing in these notebooks, and apparently they wanted to get that. And I don't know if it was just music or if it was just lyric ideas, etc. But she was writing some things, and they bought them from her. And her grandma would take that money and I guess maybe stash it away. I don't know. But let's continue.
So I'm writing books. I done wrote over 100, but when I did my when I wrote the report the first time, they made me I wrote 50 composition books full of music. I remember
50
Pierre Harvey coming by because
okay, hold on. We're gonna get into that, but a lot of composition books. So she was writing profusely, writing nonstop, right? Crazy. Okay, we're getting into it. Okay, and like I said, we're not watching this whole thing. We're gonna stop. We're gonna be jumping forward down the timeline a little bit in this interview and all that, because there's just a lot that she says. And like I said, I don't want to take all of this from Lionel. So I highly recommend you guys go and check out the interview if you haven't seen it yet. I mean, you about to see it. People are going to be talking about this whole weekend. I guarantee you. And then people are going to be talk about it even more when part 2 comes out and part 3. It's about to be crazy here very, very soon. All right. And this interview definitely is shocking the hell out of people right now.
then I started writing music for P. Diddy. And P. Diddy liked the music. But Pierre Harvey was coming by, and at first he was nice and he was paying me too. But I remember one time he came in, like, he got snatched the book out of my hand and he didn't pay me my money. And then he came back another time and he had a big phone. And like back then the cell phone was like real big and thick. He had a big thick ass cell phone, and he was telling me that P. Diddy wanted to meet me or whatever. He wanted me to come to his flavor camp for 48 hours. So he told me to ask my grandmother, could I go? I asked my grandmother, she said no. And at the time, my mother was on drugs. And I was all like, that one, I was mad at her because I'm like, I want to be famous, I want to be rich or whatever. I want to be famous. He gonna make me a singer, and we gonna be rich. He's saying that I got potential to be like the next Michael Jackson. Is basically what the nigga was telling me. And she said no. So when he called on the phone, I was like, she said no, I gotta ask my mama. She was being funny, like, ask your mama. But she knew my mama wasn't around. So I told them that, and they was like, we'll take you go find your mom. And I was like, for real? And he was like, yeah. So when they came back, I was expecting P. Diddy to be outside, but P. Diddy wasn't outside. Pierre Harvey was outside, and he picked me up. When I got to the car, he was all like, he put
Okay.
P. Diddy on the phone because I was like skeptical about getting in the car. So he had to call P. Diddy for me to hear his voice. And once I heard his voice, I got in the car. And then when I got in the car, I remember him like, eat the candy, eat the jelly beans. I think I had on pink that day. Pink, like some pink sweats and like a shirt. And I had bobos in my head. And he was like, eat the candy, eat the candy. And some said don't eat the candy, but then he was like being real persistent. Eat it, eat it, eat it, eat the candy, try it. These are new jelly beans. We just invented these with jelly beans. And when I ate the jelly bean, I was like, this is nasty. And I was spitting it out. And as I spit it out, I was like, I want to get out the car. And he slammed the door, and then he got in the car. And I remember being out of there. And I remember them putting me on the jet and them saying, damn, this little heavy. I remember him being like, wake up, wake up. I remember waking up. I remember my ear popping, and I remember my stomach dropping on the airplane.
So it was a private jet that they put you on?
Mm-hmm. It was just us. I'm calling it airplane. That's what I called it back then, but it was a jet. I remember.
Crazy, right? So she gets given jelly beans by Harvey Pierre. She gets sent off on a plane. And this is obviously over time of talking with Harvey Pierre and him talking with her for a while. So it wasn't like, see, that's the thing. I'm going to pull something up here because that's the part that is a little bit confusing to me too. Because like I said, the timeline in the lawsuit that's initially put out here is a bit confusing, right? It is a little bit confusing, but let's continue on.
We're getting there to the studio. I'm out of there asleep on the couch. I remember Asian man or Chinese man being there, and he was all like, you did this to my son. I'm going to the police. Like, you did this to my son. He's in the hospital. And he was all like, if I was you, I wouldn't say nothing or whatever. You're going to end up dead. And like the man looked terrified when he said that. You know, I don't give a fuck about you going to the police. And I'm going in and out. I remember looking on the pool table, and it was a lady getting on the table. I thought she was Mexican, but she was the Arabian lady that was Miss Gloria Alvarez. I saw her getting on the table, but I was like,
I'm still wondering who and maybe I don't remember, but the Gloria Alvarez. Does anybody remember who this Gloria Alvarez is? I'm trying to remember who that is, and maybe I'm off. But there's something that I'm like, wait a second. Who's the Gloria Alvarez? Is it Gloria Valez? And I was thinking Gloria Allred. You know what I'm saying? The lawyer, but she wasn't there, right? So no, it's Gloria Allred, but she says Alvarez. Hold on. She says Gloria Alvarez. Hold up.
I wouldn't say nothing or whatever. You're going to end up dead. And like the man looked terrified when he said that. You know, I don't give a fuck about you going to the police. And I'm going in and out. I remember looking on the pool table, and it was a lady getting on the table. I thought she was Mexican, but she was the Arabian lady that was Miss Gloria Alvarez. I saw her getting on the table, but
Gloria Alvarez. Alvarez or Alvarez? Yeah, I don't know who she's talking about. Unfortunately, I don't. But I also do think that it's interesting that she says here in the beginning, right there, that there was a man that came up to them complaining like, Yeah, and it sounds like she's talking about Talia Graves. So maybe she has the name mixed up. Maybe she has the name mixed up a little bit. And it's Kim. What's up, it's Kim? She said, hold up, let me pull this up. Shoot, what the hell? Said there is a Gloria Alvarez who's a Guatemalan radio and television presenter. Maybe, but maybe she's getting Gloria Allred and Talia Graves mixed up. But I want to make this abundantly clear. Talia Graves, if she's referring to Talia Graves' crime happened in Diddy's recording studio in New York as well. So hold on. Let me just roll that back. Let me roll that back. Because again, I want to make sure, and that, like I said, if she's mixing up Gloria Allred with Talia Graves, that's possible. But this is very interesting. Let's hear it one more time.
I remember my ear popping, and I
Getting
remember
on the
my
plane.
stomach dropping on the airplane.
So it was a private jet that they put you on?
Mm-hmm. It was just us. I'm calling it airplane. That's what I called it back then, but it was a jet. I remember getting there to the studio.
Getting to the studio.
I'm out of there, sleep on the couch. I remember Asian man or Chinese man being there, and he was all like, "You did this to my son. I'm going to the police. Like, you did this to my son. He's in the hospital." And he was all like, "If I was you, I wouldn't say nothing or whatever."
I also want to point that out. There's a Asian man that goes up to him, being like, "Get your hands off my kid," kind of thing. How dare you do what you did to my kid, right? And then they're like, "Yeah," I'm gonna. The father's like, "I'm gonna report this to the police." This Asian man that she says, and then they say, "No, do what you need to do. Try to report us and see what happens. See what happens, right?" So interesting, right? BJ investigates. What's up in the house as well? What's up, BJ? The incident Misha is describing occurred in Miami. They took her from private plane from Miami to New York, according to her in this interview. Yes. So she see, that's the thing, because in this right here, which I need to pull up, because like I said, some of this stuff is just not mathing to me a little bit. But let's take a look at this. And thank you so much for the clarification as well, BJ. Says right here, the suit alleges Pierre approached a 17-year-old in 2003 at a lounge, in Michigan, telling her he was best friends with Combs. Then he gets her on a private plane and flies her out to New York from Michigan. Remember, again, like we talked about last night, 17 years old. 17 at that time. When we hear a different age now. You see what I'm saying? So, again, I'm curious. Like I said, very curious about what's going on. Okay? And, yeah. Let's continue on. Let's get into it.
You're going to end up dead. And like the man looked terrified when he said that. I don't give about you going to the police, and I'm going in and out. I remember looking on the pool table, and it was a lady getting on the table. I thought she was Mexican, but she was the Arabian. That Arabian lady that was Miss Gloria Alvarez. I saw her.
Hold on. I'm sorry for pausing this. But I'm looking up the year Talia Graves. And I wanted to pause right there because I want to make sure that we're getting all of this correct. Okay? With all due respect. All right. Here's another one. Let me just break this down for y'all. Okay, if you don't remember the Talia Graves, the SA allegations, she says that she was basically SA'd on like a pool table, and it was recorded, and it was done. She was attacked by not only Diddy, but also Big Joe Sherman, Joseph Joe Sherman. Now, he claims, of course, we already know, he says, my name Bennett, I ain't in it, I was not there, and I'm countersuing for like a whole bunch of cash, right? Which is absolutely insane. So she's saying if she's just using the wrong name, because, you know, it's not like all these accusers know each other. They're not, you know, all best friends or anything. So there is a possibility that she could have the wrong name. So she could be saying Gloria Allred, or she could be thinking Talia Graves, but using Gloria Allred in her mind because Gloria Allred is a prominent lawyer. Let's be real. Now, what happened to her, what is alleged, what year this allegedly happened for Misha, or this Jane Doe, was right here. I'll show it to you again. In 2003, right here. She went to this recording studio, and then, of course, she was viciously essayed by not only just Diddy, but 2 other people. If Talia Graves is that actual person, which I could be absolutely wrong, we're just trying to do the math here. That act of crime that Talia Graves allegedly puts out here, saying that it happened, what year it happened to her, was in 2001. So if Misha flew onto a plane with Harvey Pierre, went up there, saw an Iranian woman getting viciously attacked while she was in and out of consciousness, it wasn't Talia Graves. So she may have a different name, or she may be putting the wrong name on a person. It could be that she saw somebody else in 2003 getting viciously attacked, and she's just assuming that it's Talia Graves. That could be it too. But they were not, both of them. If these actually happened, if this actually happened, Talia Graves and this Jane Doe, Misha, were not in the same room at the same time. It is timeline. It is physically impossible. Just saying that. Talia Graves was 2001. What happened to her and what she, her allegations happened when it was in 2003. So again, she could have a name mixed up. Obviously, she's saying Gloria Alvarez. It could be anybody. Okay. Could be another victim that hasn't even spoken out yet. That could very well be possible as well. But if we are just doing the math on the lawsuits that have already been filed already, we're instantly going, well, there's a person that's, representing Talia Graves, and what happened to her actually did happen on a pool table in Diddy's recording studio, but it happened 2 years prior to her being moved. Right? Very interesting, right? Very, very interesting. And hey, BJ, if you got time to hop on, BJ Investigates, if you want to hop on and chop it up, love to hear your thoughts on everything. You're more than welcome. Just let me know in the family chat. All right. But still, very, very, very interesting. Let's just continue on. We got to continue. This is like I said, it's tough because there's this red flags. And like I said, I'm not sitting here saying that I don't believe her, but I'm just curious. And then also we found out last night, and you find out later on, that she does not have legal representation right now. And you start to wonder why she doesn't have legal representation, especially with what she says here. It is insane. It's heartbreaking, and she should get some legal representation for sure, right? But let's continue on.
Her getting on the table, but I was like I was conscious, but I was coherent, but I couldn't move. And then I remember it being like, I'm thirsty. I remember him giving me something to drink, and I remember it tasted nasty, and him laughing and him doing his little dance talking about welcome to the flavor camp in my face or whatever. And then I remember
flavor camp. So the same camp that Usher went to. Real talk.
coming to And he was telling me, asking me if I smoke, if I drink, and I told him no. And he was telling me basically I can't turn down anything that he offers me. I have to, if he offered it to me, I have to do it. I remember him giving me a tour of the place and him giving me the camera. I remember him like trying to make me feel comfortable, and he was like complimenting, saying, "Oh, she got a nice." I felt so uncomfortable. He was like, "Don't."
Okay. My lawyer friends that are out here right now that are watching this, okay? Question. Notice 3 photos right there. You got 3 photos. Don't worry, I'm going to continue. And if, April's like, please play the video. If you want to watch the video uninterrupted, go check it out. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. Trust me, give Lionel B that full-on view, all right? But I want to make something abundantly clear, and I'm just asking a question. I'm not trying to be mean or anything of that sort. But if you notice 3 photos, which one is not like the other? No, it has nothing to do with. Sure, skin tone could be added in there. It could be she could have been out in the sun a lot one summer. So that's not what I'm talking about. Is it? You see one photo, she's there all the way to the far right of the screen, right? Her face isn't blurred. So why aren't the other ones unblurred? Or is it because she's still allegedly a little in those photos? Wouldn't the third one be blurred out too? If that's what it is? I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I got questions. Like I said, I got questions. I'm not sitting here saying I don't believe her. I'm just saying I just want to know what's going on,
Like trying to make me feel comfortable, and he was like complimenting, saying, "Oh, she got a nice." I felt so uncomfortable. He was like, "Don't she got a nice body? Her ass is nice." I remember that. I remember him telling me to get the camera and to take pictures.
What did he have you taking pictures of, or
Like
yourself?
video, he took pictures of me, and like when I took a picture and I'm like in front of the thing, I'm taking pictures like this, and I took a picture of the bed. That was me. I just took a picture of the bed. He was like, "Go walk around." I put my phone on do not disturb. He was like, "Go walk around," and he told me to take pictures. And I remember taking pictures of the bed, like take pictures or whatever. And I remember taking a picture of the bedroom.
Okay. I of course I got to hop forward because I could play this through back to back, but I just to be respectful, because this is so chock full with so much information that I want to watch it all with y'all, right? But respectfully, I'm going to have to jump forward a little bit and watch a little bit as well. Because like I said, just to respect his wishes, like I said, I really, really recommend you guys going over to the full show, full interview over on Lionel B's channel. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. Go check it out, please and thank you. Let them know I sent you. Don't forget to subscribe over there because this guy is coming out with so much info. Okay, with Adria and other interviews from the past as well. I mean, he's been coming out with a lot of stuff. All right, whether you agree with it or not. There's some information. So I'm going to skip up just a little bit because there's a part here that I really want you guys to hear before I hop forward even more. Okay. Yeah. So Tasha just said, or Tasha said, Pascal, you're comparing the pictures from media, which has her face blocked. So I'm curious if Lionel got the same photos of the D&G shirt photos, if he has those photos that are unblocked, because I would want to see, you know what I mean? As far as everybody's sitting here saying, hey, is this really her or not? I would want to see that unblocked photo too. You see what I'm saying? Maybe not share it to the rest of the world, but I would want to see. You see what I'm saying? I'd want to see it too, just to make sure. But let's continue on. All right.
To be like, they was asking me, have I ever been molested? Have I ever had sex? Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, knowing I was a virgin. I've been molested, but I never been penetrated.
Mhm.
He asked me what kind of cocks I like, and I was like, real big cocks. I like big cocks, real big cocks. And he sent Roger Bonds to go buy a pink dildo. And I remember waking up, looking in the mirror. I look in the mirror and I see P. Diddy behind me. And I know when I was in the room, he took my virginity on that bed. And I remember screaming and hurting, but I had to take that. I had to take it. But then after that, I remember I just woke up again. I'm in the bathroom, bent over the sink,
Mhm.
and I'm yelling, but I guess I'm not making noise. I don't know. But I'm yelling, it hurt. Please stop. I'm weak. I can't move. And he's giving me or whatever. He turned me around, kissed me in my mouth, and was like, I'm not gonna hurt you. But he was hurting me. And he turned me back over. And when he stuck it in my, he told me pinch his nipples and all type of crazy shit. He kissed me in my mouth and he turned me back over and I passed out again when he stuck it in my ass and the pain stopped and then I was relieved and then I felt the pain again and when I woke up it was Pierre Harvey behind me and he stuck it in my ass and I remember looking and yelling, no, stop, no, stop. And I happened the Jewish guy was behind Pierre, like on the side. It was like in his bathroom at that studio. It was like a restroom stall in there. I remember, and then after he finished, I remember P. Diddy I was asking the Jewish guy to help me because I know he just had a baby, and I was looking at him for help. And he was all like, I don't want to do this. I want to do this. And he was like, if you don't fuck her, I'm going to fuck you. So the dude got behind me and his stuff was soft.
Okay, I'm gonna pause it right there. Okay, hold on. Woo! Okay. And it's interesting because first off, I've already heard this interview maybe 2 or 3 times already. Because I wanted to, prepare, get here for this conversation and all that. But at the same time, it still hits the same. Every time you hear it, you're just like, oh dear God, it just never stops. You know what I'm saying? But let me just say this. And yes, just to make it abundantly clear, guys, I just did a whole freaking 10-minute thing. Okay, guys, where I explained that Lionel came onto the show, gave me permission to show this on my channel. He gave me verbal permission on the show last night to show this on my show today. Let me just make that abundantly clear. All right, before everyone goes crazy and is like, you stealing this, bro? Come on, man. No. He gave me permission. I played it in the very beginning. Go check it out. Okay? Love you, my sweet babies. But still, even hearing this for the 4th time, this is still hard to hear because it just is, it's really mind-blowing what she actually goes through and what she claims that she has gone through. It is scary. And I've also said this last night. Okay, let me say this too. This is a harsh reminder, guys, that what she's alleging, there are kids, there are men and women right now going through the same stuff. Right now as we speak. As much as we say, oh, this is too bad to be true, in actuality, it's true. There are little boys, little girls, men and women being moved around in these streets right now. Some in plain sight, being misused, being attacked in these vicious types of way, if not worse. And what's sad about it is we'll never hear their voices. We'll never know their names. We'll never see their beautiful faces. So this is a harsh reality in which that we actually live in. Now, of course, what we're hearing here, it's mind-blowing. It's devastating. It's heartbreaking. It made me tear up the first time I heard it, because I was like, I can't believe that this could possibly have happened to this person. But then also the mind-blowing thought is that there are other people that are going through this right now, or some that have been lucky enough to survive stuff like this. And there's very few. It's not a lot, but it's very sad. It gets harder here, guys. And this is what I'm trying to prepare you guys for. It gets harder here, what she talks about, because she talks about cages and being around with other kids and all that, and being forced to do things that she's been forced to do a lot of stuff. Let's be real. This is what she's alleging. But what she says later on in this, it's just unbelievable. And then, of course, she speaks about her escape from the clutches of these monsters. Again, I can't believe it. I just can't, meaning the expression. All right. I'm just very, very shook by this whole thing. And, but again, let's not forget, there are little boys and girls right now going through, if not the same thing, if not worse, right now. So, just a heads up, guys, because we're going to get into some really, really choppy water.
Them off and bathing them, feeding them. I remember me being in the cage. I kept letting them out the cage. I remember I kept opening the cage, letting them out, and like they used to have to get them and run after them, get them. I remember them being in there, and we was saying our names, and I was like Lamisha, and one said her name, and then she was talking in her language, and I ain't hear nothing, but she was like, fight. So every time we got out the cage, it was like we all, like when it was time to get ready, everybody having sex, that's when I started fighting back. I remember
I know it's hard. I know it's hard.
I remember they had a tray, and on the tray there was a knife, it was a corkscrew, it was a glass bottle, it was a candle, and it was a cigar on the tray. And I remember all of them had to stick it in me. And I will never forget how Bill Cosby lit the cigar and put it out on my vagina.
So Bill Cosby was one of the people there?
Yes.
Okay, like I said, fourth time hearing this, and it's still not this. It still hits the same. Okay, yeah, it's a lot of OMG, WTF, holy S. Yeah, all right, we're gonna continue, but yeah, she says a lot, and now we hear Bill Cosby. We've already heard a couple other names in the very beginning. Like I said, this is tough. This is tough. And then, of course, talking about taking care of these other kids that were all up in cages. I mean, again, crazy. Okay, let's continue.
I never came forward to his case or whatever, but he had Jane Doe's, but that opened up all the old stuff that he'd been doing, but I never came forward in that because my grandmother never took me. She never reported me missing, and she never took me to do a police report. And as I'm calling, getting help from these lawyers, it's like nobody can help me. And like, I need help with a lawyer. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, I know that's me. Like, I can provide pictures, not the picture that they have, because they have the original. The police had the original copy of that picture of me. You know what I'm saying? They had the original copy of that picture of me. I don't have no picture. I got pictures of how I looked at that time, that like you can see my shoulder and I'm still got the same frame, but I don't have those pictures anymore. I remember.
So she says that those photos are indeed her, but she doesn't have the original photos anymore. Those photos she does not have in her possession anymore. But of course, that's the other photo that you saw of her kind of bent over, okay, in the blue, in the white top and the blue jeans, right? The blue jean shorts, right? So now she's saying that the police have those photos, but she does not have the photo herself. She does not have the original photos. So there's the answer to that question that I had earlier, right? It's like, where's the original photo, right? And hold on, let me see this. And BJ just said, and did she say that was her, and or did Lionel just edit pics in his video? I don't know if he. Okay, so as far as that photo goes, let me show you this photo right here. Hopefully, it'll show this photo right here. From my understanding, he got that from her. I mean, that's just assuming. I don't have any confirmation on that. But as far as the other two photos, obviously that's been all over. Those two photos of her, of the D&G shirt, that's been all over the internet for show, right? So I am kind of curious about this photo though too. You know, where did he? You know, where did she send it to him? So on and so forth. So I am kind of curious about this. Okay, but again, you know, got a lot of questions, y'all. Got a lot of questions. Let's rock and roll.
Frame, but I don't have those pictures anymore. I remember he did what he did to me, and then when it was time for Jennifer Lopez, she was there with a guy, and he was standing there looking disgusted, but didn't nobody save me. She stuck that glass in me, and after that, like, but my eyes were booked the whole time, and it put a blindfold on me. I remember them beating the fuck out of me. I remember them hog tying me.
Now, I do want to say, again, she says the broken glass story with J-Lo, she just reiterated that it's not only just Adria English that said that in the interview. She also says that here too. Now, of course, we're going to talk. There's a lot we got to talk about. We're going to talk about a lot of different things because there's many, many possibilities here. We're going to break it down in just a minute, but let's continue in here again. She does claim, just to make that abundantly clear, she does claim that that is her in the photos wearing the D&G shirt. She does not have the original photos anymore, but she does say that that is her in the photos. Just so you guys know. Let's continue.
I remember I remember them all being mad at me because I put snake venom in everybody's drinks and shit because everybody acting like they couldn't remember. But when this witchy lady, she gave me she was in a red room and the room had mirrors everywhere and it was a yellow snake in the damn sink. She gave me the venom, and whatever she gave me, it made me still be numb. But whatever she gave me, it made me coherent. Like I was coherent to everything, but I still couldn't move. You know what I'm saying? And
okay, I'm sorry for cutting out all a lot, but I have to. Okay. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Blink Twice, but apparently, obviously, this is a big piece of Blink Twice. Just so you guys know, spoiler alert. Okay, spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the movie, go see the movie because I thought it was really, really good. I think it's really, really well done, but very telling. Now they're saying that she's talking about this snake venom that she was using to stay coherent, stay alert, to remember what happened to herself, what's happening to her. This is also a premise in Blink Twice. We learned last night that allegedly she told Zoe Kravitz and the writer of the other writer of Blink Twice about this snake venom, and they used it in the doggone movie, which is also very, very interesting. So again, very interesting. This is, like I said, it's just very interesting. What are you thinking so far, guys? I mean, are you 100% on with her or no? I'm curious. Fire off in the chat. This is very interesting. I will say that. Let's continue on.
I put it in everything, and I remember Kris Jenner being mad about it, and
Kris
I
Jenner.
stabbed her in her left side of her shoulder, like right here. This is where I stabbed her, right there. And no, it's not allegedly. It really happened. It really happened. And I hope by me going.
So she poked Kris Jenner. She took out the kniff and poked her in the shoulder. Wild. Unbelievable stuff. So let's continue.
On live and me telling some stuff that it don't help him get off. You know what I'm saying? Because they saying like, I don't need to talk, but I don't have no lawyer. I don't have nobody to represent me. And if it was for the money, I would have been and took the money.
All right.
I would have been and took the money.
That's all right, sis. Speak your truth. Speak your truth.
He burned down this building to cover up all the evidence and some more people that was there. Yeah, that's the building he caught talking about, because he ended up doing some shit. He slipped, fell, hit his head, and I ended up pulling him out. I wanted to leave him in there, but the power of God told me to do it. And God told me to get him. And I wanted to let that nigga burn. I wanted to let that nigga die. I swear for God, I wanted to let him die. I can't tell you. I wanted to let him die. I cannot make this up. I cannot make this up. Yes, I was young, and yes, I pulled out a grown man out of a burning place. You hear me? And I jotted for the woods, and I was lost in the woods. I died in the woods. God brought me back to life, and I just told God, just please kill me. I don't want to get away. I'm hungry. I was in the woods. I don't know how long I was in the woods until I made it to the barbed wire fence. Beat me up. I was already beat up because before I made it to the woods, they beat that damn deal inside of me. The deal he made Roger Bonds go by. He told that man go buy that deal. They beat that deal inside of me, and I don't know. I went to the highway. I made it through the barbed wire fence, because I'm like, damn, I thought I was in the jungle.
Okay, hold on. Okay. Ooh, boy. Okay. Let's break this down. Okay, because yeah, but regardless of whether you believe it or not, whether you no matter what, just hearing it just hurts. It's hard to hear, respectfully. There's something I want to. I'm gonna say it. And I mean this with all the respect in my heart. But this is just how my mind works. I'm clearly I'm jumping back and forth. I got a lot of things in my mind with this interview and with all this, and I'm trying to be respectful as I can, but I also am looking at things that I'm like, okay, here's some facts though, or here's some information that makes me go, well, wait a second, because I know that detail. And I know that detail too, because I saw this movie called Blink Twice. So sorry, spoiler. I'm sorry, guys. If you haven't seen Blink Twice, you've seen it already. At the end of Blink Twice, the house burns down. At the end of Blink Twice, with the snake venom, with all that stuff, the bad guy gets dragged out of a burning house. Now, it could very well be a reenactment of what she told them, allegedly, when they wrote the book or wrote the movie. But at the end of the movie, how they escape, spoiler alert, just ruined the movie for you guys, but it's a damn good movie. I really liked that movie. I thought it was damn good. I watched it twice, not because it said Blink Twice, but because it was just good. I just wanted to watch it again. I was like, damn, it's still good the second time around, especially when you know everything that's going on afterwards. It's even better the second time around, in my personal opinion. But sorry for the spoiler alert. At the end of the movie, the house goes up in flames. They take out the bad guy out of the thing. The final girl, or the hero of the movie, right? Takes him out of the house with another girl too. And they watch the doggone house go up in flames with all the bad guys, or some of the bad guys, inside the building, or inside this house, burning as well. That's what happens in the movie. There's also, where they are, a wooded, kind of jungled type of area, because they're in this kind of like this tropical island that this multi-billionaire, like a Diddy, bought an island. And then he and his friends will go over there and do some really bad things, right? They do some real blink twice type stuff, to the point where the hero of the movie consumes some venom, some snake venom, and then suddenly everything, her memory comes back, and she remembers everything that she went through, right? And then at the very end of the movie, house goes up in flames. And yes, she still saves the bad guy, the main head son of a gun. And there's moments where they're running through the woods, trying to escape, so on and so forth. So I'm not saying it's the exact same ending, but I'm just saying there is elements here that I'm like, it's kind of like the ending of the movie. Except this time, she's claiming that she was a little at that time, pulling out a grown man from a burning house or a burning building, after using snake venom to get her memory back and to stay cognizant of what kind of things she went through. Just saying. It's just interesting. Like I said, again, the writers, if they really were in contact with her with this information, definitely they could have used that information. Like, oh, that's a great ending to the movie. Let's use it. The snake venom is a fire idea. Let's use the snake venom. That's very possible. It is. I'm not sitting here saying that I don't believe her. I'm just saying those pieces are indeed in those movies. So that's interesting. Or in that movie. And I think that's just interesting. But moving on, let's continue.
Because they kept telling me, you're in the jungle. So I didn't know where the fuck I was at. I'm thinking I done ran away from Africa to America. That's what I'm thinking in my kid mind. You know what I'm saying? And this is how I wrote my police report. This is how the first police report is written. You know what I'm saying? And
real quick, I do want to know if she can get access to those police reports as well. Because you know for a fact that there are going to be people out here sitting there. There's going to be some pushback. After people see this interview, there's going to be some pushback. So I am kind of curious if she has the paperwork. You know what I'm saying? The breadcrumbs, the receipts, so that she can shut a lot of the naysayers up. Let's continue.
I get to the barbed wire fence. I almost get hit by cars because it's the barbed wire fence. And then it was the freeway. And I collapsed on these trash bags. And some white man, I think his name was Samson, he picked me up. And he drove me from Miami and took me back to New York. And when I came in there, I would beat the fuck up. And they was like, who did this to you? And they tried to get the white man. I said, he didn't do it for me. He didn't do that to me. He saved my life. And he didn't take me to the police station in Miami because I was telling him that it was like the sheriffs, the people worked for the Miami police place was doing that to me. And I was telling him, he told the police did this to me because the nigga was around police. He was around a lot of elite white people. I was like, the police did this to me. So he said that he drove me from Miami and he drove me to New York. And
that's interesting. She was found by this man named Samson in Miami, and then he put her in a car and he drove her from Miami all the way up to New York. Now, I don't know how many hours that is, but that's a lot of hours. That's a lot of hours. That's more than just 24 hours, I'm assuming. That's just me assuming. I'm sure somebody out here with your glasses just, going, well, Ashley, it's so somebody out there is going to tell me how many hours it is. Buddy Love, of course you got to come through. Okay, somebody just said that's 26, so you might be wrong, Buddy Love. Look at that. The competition has come already. See, Dion just said 20 hours. Okay. Kim Princess just said 26. Okay. Somebody else just said, Kim Princess said, or 20. 26 out or 20. I don't know which one it is, but it's a long time. Okay. That's a long time. That's a very, very long time. So it does make you wonder for what she went through. She was in a car for 18 hours, 26 minutes. King Bob just gave me the precise. Okay. But driving all the way up nonstop. I've done it before. I've done 18, 20, 22 hours before nonstop. It's insane. All right. It's insane. You're living off of Doritos and Monster drinks, but at the same time, I don't recommend that experience. It's a terrible experience. I've done it nonstop before. So it's not impossible, but if she was in dire straits and physically wrecked, like she says, because of course I'm not playing anymore. You've heard a good portion of it. I highly recommend you guys go and check out the full interview. But in this interview itself, let me change that still a little bit, because that still was not good. Okay. But in that still, well, it's not happening. But anyway, in this interview, no matter what she is saying here is mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. And there's timelines that seem a little bit odd. Like I said, red flags keep flying up for me instantly, because I'm like, wait, timeline ain't timeline in there. This part ain't lining up. But then I also understand, like I fully understand the need for, like, I totally understand how there could be moments where her memory breaks. There could be mental breaks in this situation where she remembers only fragments of the story. She doesn't have the full story locked in her mind. That could very well be it too. Trauma is very wild. I've heard stories from people who have been viciously attacked, and they'll talk about how all they did was stare at the vent, and they were just looking at the dust that was coming, that was literally just like clinging onto the vent as they were getting viciously attacked. There are situations like that where they just think about that one thing. They'll just stare at a crack on the wall, right? Or they'll look at a little piece of chipped paint in this particular area, and they just stare at that. Or all they hear is the music that's playing in the background. If there is music playing in the background, there's plenty of stories like that, and plenty of survivors that have retold their stories with those kinds of details. Then also you got to remember too, this is someone that is also thank you, Fleon. Thank you. Yes, it's called disassociating. Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, for the term. But then there's also people who will sit there. You also got to remember, if they are being plied with some type of substance, they're going to remember only so much. It'll be choppy. It'll be in and out the entire time. One moment you're thinking about one thing, you see this one thing, and the next minute you remember another piece. And some of these things come out like a fever dream. Some of these things won't make sense to us, and damn sure won't make sense to the victim, especially if there's certain things that are being plied and forced into their bodies that's going to disorient them, right? Make them dizzy, make them pass out, come in and out of consciousness. All those things you have to put into consideration. And, you know, for someone who has been viciously traumatized, there's a lot of things that can happen to a person's brain when they are viciously attacked in that type of fashion. Remember, anything's possible. Now, I know a lot of y'all are asking questions, and shoot, I do too. I got a lot of questions, dag nabbit. I got so many because you just heard me. I'm sitting there going like, wait a second. But then there's this though too. And then this timeline doesn't make sense, but this timeline doesn't make sense. There's this part, and then there's that part. How's the mathing? Is this really her in these photos? Is this really her in this D&G shirt? Hold on, I'm pulling the photo up. You know? Is this really her in the D&G shirt here? Or is this somebody else? Could she possibly be a victim, but mixing up her experience with somebody else's? I'm just asking the questions, right? I'm just asking the questions because I know for a fact that this is going to be a controversial and very polarizing topic here, this interview, because I'm already seeing in the chat already. Some of y'all are like, that's definitely her. Oh my God, that's her, man. Stop. Y'all need to stop. That's her. And then there's other people that are like, nah, man, she cap. She's capping, man. That's not her. And I get it. I get both sides. I fully get it. Okay. Oh, wow. Thank you, BJ. That means a lot. I'm a big fan of your stuff too. The Brittany Murphy, yo. Guys, let me just say this before you disappear, Brittany, BJ, the Brittany Murphy episode that you just dropped, fire. Fire. Yeah. And thank you. I'd love to have you on the show sometime. It'd be great to have a chance to chop it up with you, okay? But again, I'm curious, right? I'm very, very curious about all of this because I don't have a definitive answer even myself. I'm always a gentleman and a caring human being first. I always try not only just lead with my brain, with my thoughts and use my intelligence, but I always lead with my heart as well. And so I'm not a fan of just going up to somebody and being like, oh, you're not a victim, you're just lying. But at the same time, I'm also a logical, practical human being. Yes, I get silly and I'm funny a lot of times on the show. And that's just how I do my show. But the thing is that when somebody steps forward and they speak out like this, you have to take it very seriously. You have to take what they say for what they are saying. But at the same time, that practicality, that brain, you instantly go, wait a second. Is this 100% or not? And like I said, I'm still on the fence myself. Personally, I am. But I will say that you know for a fact, time can only tell. And time will only expose, double down on the truth or expose the lies. She's got a second interview. Like I said, that's not the full interview. So go check. She says a whole lot more later on in the interview, which, by the way, there is a part that I'm like, whoa, and maybe I misunderstood it, but I'm going to say it right now. But near the end of the interview, okay, again, she runs away from this burning house. She goes through some barbed wire, which cuts her up. She gets all jacked up from the thing. She goes to an interstate. Somehow she passes out on a bunch of bags of trash. A man named Samson meets her, finds her, puts her in his car, and this is somewhere in Miami, and drives her from Miami all the way up to New York. That's when she goes and she files a lawsuit against she files a police report. I'm sorry, not a lawsuit, but that's when she files one of her first police reports. Let me just say this, and if I have this correct, she was having a lot of pain because she said she had a swollen eye, like she was really jacked up. That's what I mean by why was she driven from Miami to New York for 18, 22, 26 hours, however long it took him for Samson to drive from Miami all the way up to New York, right? Why didn't he just immediately take her to the first hospital that he saw down the street? Why not 5 minutes to the hospital? Why 26 hours to a hospital in New York? That's the part that I'm wondering about. But the information that she says at the end of this part and near the end of the interview, she talks about how that she was having pains down below. And if I have this correct, the timeline, they removed something from her down there. It was a D. It was a D. It was a toy that was lodged. You know what I mean? Down there. They said that they removed that and then they had to do basically some reconstructive surgery on her down there because of how she was viciously attacked. So she went from a burning house, through woods, through barbed wire, passed out onto an interstate on some trash bags, got picked up by Samson, got put into a car, and then driven 20 plus hours to New York. And then that's when she was tended to medically, where there was an object lodged inside of her. That's a long time to have something like that. And of course, you let's not forget, she could be she could be under the influence of substances when she ran. There's also adrenaline from the trauma from trying to get away. She could very well have been passed out a good portion of that ride, which is what it sounds like, that ride that Samson gave her. But at the same time, this is what she told us. And then, of course, later on, serious pain, and then an object was found. Now, again, taking out all the things that we have, like all the red flags out of the way, we do have to remember that there is a world. There is a very, very dirty, messed up, mucked up world out here that I don't wish my worst enemy to ever stumble upon. And that is a place where people are treated less than objects, less than livestock, and are attacked viciously. And this is something that's happening every single day. Right now, as we're talking, there are kids locked up in a cage somewhere. And that just breaks my heart. Let me get some of these super chats. General Scott, thank you so much for gifting 1 membership. I appreciate it. And Combat Drummer, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. All you guys that just got gifted a membership, these two, Combat Drummer and General Scott, just gave you some positivity, especially after what we just talked about today. Please pay it forward, okay? Open a door for somebody, buy somebody a cup of coffee, tell your loved ones that you love them, give them an extra hug today. We just need more positivity in the world because there really is so much evil, so much negativity in the world. So just please pay it forward, all right? KB, thank you so much for the love. Wasn't sure he was credible. I'll go watch. Thank you. Yes, if I'm correct, you're talking about, I think, Lionel B in the interview. I say go check it out. Check out the full thing. Check out the interview that I had with him last night. Of course, check out this full interview. It's linked to the top of the chat right now. And you guys all come up with your own conclusion, right? Think independently, critically, and independently for yourself. Because whatever you have in your mind, I mean, it's not wrong. It's not wrong to believe her 100%. And it's not wrong to challenge those questions because it does seem so out there that it's like, how is that even true? Remember the lawsuit that we read where it was the girl who said that she said something really insulting to Diddy, trying to connect him to the unaliving of Tupac, and then he was basically like, "You gonna learn one day," kind of thing. And then she gets viciously attacked by a group of men. Some of these guys were Diddy's bodyguards and all that. One of Diddy's friends and Diddy. She runs out. He begs her not to say anything, and she's trying to leave the house. She's having a conversation. He calls up his own mama. Mama's trying to convince her to say the whole thing was consensual. So then she's like, "Hell to the no." And then he brings up something. Something along the lines about Tupac again. One of the bodyguards suddenly turns on him, pulls out a pew pew. She puts her hand on the pew pew, and the pew pew goes off. She goes running. She actually pokes him with a kniff. She runs out of the house, running down the street. The bodyguard runs after her, comes up to her, the same dude that just was involved in the essay, and says to her, No, I'm an undercover cop. And then bang, bang, shots are fired again. Then at the very, very end, she ends up going back to the house and passing out, going to sleeping there for several hours before she finds her clothes, gets her phone, gets back in her car, and drives off. And that is a very, very broad stroke. I missed out on all kinds of details in that lawsuit, but that lawsuit was absolutely insane, y'all. And we went through it together. And I'm sitting there going, how is this happening? This is like if Tyler Perry wrote a crime story, like a movie with nothing but like a true crime movie. Because it just didn't make any sense. But that is a lawsuit that is out here. In fact, that very woman that was supposed to step forward and speak out decided not to. She was supposed to be on Ashley Banfield's show, if I'm correct, earlier this week or late last week. And she backed out at the last minute because she was scared. But again, no matter what, these individuals are actually stepping forward and, with these lawsuits. Some of these are so wild, you just can't believe them. But that doesn't mean that they're not true. So, of course, listen to that full interview. Think critically and independently for yourself. Because you know for a fact, the truth, if it's not the truth will eventually come out. The other thing, too, this lawsuit, she does not have any legal representation right now. We talked about that last night. And I keep wondering, why? Why doesn't she have Why doesn't she have lawyers? Why doesn't she have any legal representation? Something that's interesting about that, too. Does it mean anything profound? No. But I am kind of curious about that. Why? Deneen, welcome to the family. And just like Deneen, please, guys, hit that join button down below. All right. And while I'm at it, let's not forget, hit that like button down below. Let's get it to 1K. All right. Let's get to the 1K if you don't mind. Hit that like button down below. All right. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, please. And thank you. All right. Subscribe. Oh, my gosh. There's a lot going on, y'all. And we got more coming. Trust and believe. Henry, I'm sorry. Thank you so much. Notice no one famous or political from Epi has been charged. Abso-freaking-lutely. This money runs deep. That's where the power to do and get away with this stuff comes from. Yes, absolutely. I agree 110%. And that's some pretty wild stuff too, don't you think? Don't you think that you got people out here? The epi list ain't never been out here. Not never. And I don't think we're ever going to see it. I don't care. I'm sorry. I know it's going to anger a lot of people who are out there that are like, 47, let's go. But here it is, guys. You really think he going to put out that list? The full list, though. I believe it when I see it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter on what side you sit on politically. I'm just saying. I feel like there are certain things that are said just to please people. Okay? Just like Kamala, right? It's like, let me tell you something. I have a Glock. Next question. Excuse me, I'm the one who's talking. Right? They'll say anything to get that vote. I got hot sauce in my bag. Moving on. Carbonized. Did you hear about the button that nobody smashed? What? Come on now. Smash. Okay, me neither. Go smash that mother loving like damn right. Hit it, dagnabbit. Let's get it to 1K. Let's get it to 1K, mother. Please and thank you. All right. Henry, thank you so much. Remember Kris Jenner Joker. Kris Jenner joking, I think you're trying to say, about being poked. Yes, apparently she did say something about that in the past. Yes. Okay, so we got to talk about these things. Let's talk about it really quick. Because I know we all intelligent mother lovers out here in these streets. To all you beautiful brains, okay, that actually use the brain matter. Congratulations, because there's a lot of people who don't. Let's keep it real, all right? But let's talk about this. There are possibilities of a lot of information being put into stories. And let me say this. Let me preface this before I get into it with this. This does not mean that I don't believe any of these victims or these accusers. Let me just make that abundantly clear, because some of y'all have selective hearing. But let me say this. There is still a possibility that some of these individuals will be out here consuming information, because there's a lot of stories that we hear that we're like, wow, but yeah, that is an old piece of information that we've been known about. Like, oh, Kris Jenner getting poked, because she claims that she was actually poked in the past. It could be easy for somebody to grab that piece of information and put that in their back pocket and use it in their story, right? If they wanted to fabricate something, for sure. It's the same thing of, oh yeah, when this event happened, I saw, or I know that this person was attacked with a bottle, so on and so forth. You see what I'm saying? So it is easy for people to take rumors or things that have been said on shows or in newspapers, articles, etc., and spin it into their narrative to make their narrative seem even more real. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that is what's going on with Misha's story. But what I'm trying to say is that there are a lot of people out here that could use that information and use information that's out here, rumors, things that have already been talked about ad nauseum for decades, and add that little breadcrumb into their into their story to make it seem like what they're saying is even more legit. Remember this. Just by the way, I put out a video this morning. There's already been one of the five lawsuits have been dropped, dismissed, because the Jane Doe that filed this lawsuit does not want to put his name out there. So the lawsuit got dropped. But here's the thing. Don't you notice that every single time that we hear a story about an attack by Diddy, majority of these attacks by Diddy have been, I drank something, I got woozy, I lost consciousness, I was attacked. Right? It can be very easy for any Harry Dick, Harry Dick, Tom and John, whatever the hell that phrase is, any person out here to take that information, those 3 bullet points, and use it in their story too. Sorry, but it can be possible to use that same pattern. Yeah, I went to his party and I went to a party. I was invited. Dick, yeah, Harry, Dick, or Tom, Dick, or Harry. Yes, thank you. Tom, Dick, or Harry. Thank you so much. Thank you. You know what I mean? My brain going, okay. Tom, Dick, or Harry. Any person could be out here and just taking that information and going, yeah, that happened to me too. Yeah, I went to a modeling thing, and then I was given a soda, and then I lost consciousness. I felt, I had no control over my body. I lost consciousness, and then I woke up being attacked. Those things can very much be used over and over again by people who are telling the absolute truth to the people who are actually lying through their teeth. The problem is you have to sift through all that stuff to make sure the people who are telling the truth are actually, or people who are telling the story are actually telling the truth. You see what I'm saying? Now everybody's doing it. Tom, Dick, and Harry. Thank you so much. The next show is going to be called Tom, Dick, or Harry. Come on down. But I appreciate it. But you see what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that could come forward and just use that same model, same breakdown, and file a lawsuit. And instantly they think they're being believed. Now, I'm not talking about what happened to Misha. Misha's story is extremely graphic, extremely detailed. Even when it's not detailed, it's very detailed. Okay. There are some lapses of timeline, but it's very detailed and very devastatingly graphic. So there are other people, though, that could use that same breakdown just to try to scoop a bag. Just saying. So we'll see what happens. It's just the same thing as the blink twice stuff. As soon as you see or hear that information, and we've already seen the movie, a lot of us who know about this Diddy thing and watched Blink Twice, we're all going, wait, Blink Twice, that's odd. And we heard from Lionel in an interview from last night. He even said verbatim that that apparently Misha gave the writers of that movie, Zoe Kravitz and the other writer, the Venom thing. But we're hearing it from Misha herself. Does it mean that she's lying? Possibly. We have no confirmation of that. We have nobody from Zoe Kravitz's team coming forward and going, yes, she did give us that information, and we used it in the movie. Not once. We haven't heard anything like that. You see what I'm saying? So it is very, very interesting how all of this, it's very interesting, the interview. What will come of it, I don't know. I'm very interested to see what happens in part 2. Definitely interested in seeing what happens in part 3, because apparently it's a 3-parter. And I definitely want to see where this goes, because there's a lot of questions that still haven't been fully answered. And I think that we'll get those hopefully very soon. Or maybe it'll just be all 3 of just question marks at the end of every single one. I don't know. But if Lionel's watching this show right now, great job on the interview, real talk. But I will say, if there's a possibility of smoothing out some of those wrinkles from this first interview in that second interview, or if you are bringing her back in to sit down and talk to her again for that part 3, then I think that will be extremely helpful for all of us that care and just want to fully have this thing fleshed out properly without any questions. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what it is too. So we'll see. But damn good job on getting this information. It's crazy. It's crazy. But again, she says that she is the person in the D&G shirt. She is the person that went through all of this stuff. She even said, and we didn't really talk about it in here, but she does say that she is the girl with the sushi on her as well. She does say she is the sushi girl as well, with the with the with the strawberries and all that stuff. Same thing that Adria says, with the strawberry situation, same thing. She says she's that girl, and she claims that she was a little at that time as well. Like I said, this thing is getting thicker than a snicker. It most definitely is. All right. S Dubs, thank you so much. So was the movie written after based? Was the movie written after based on the event? That's the one thing that's what she's claiming. You see what I'm saying? So I am curious because, like I said, anybody can take that piece of information and add it into their story. Anybody could. I could do that right now, right? But at the same time, because the movie's out, it's already out. But see, that's why there's going to be people going, wait a second, that don't make sense. Venom, come on now, huh? That's in Blink Twice. Because that movie already exists. If we had this interview with her, or if we saw this interview with her before Blink Twice came out, then I'd be like, oh my damn, how did that happen? That's scary. Maybe they did have an interview and a conversation with her. You see what I'm saying? To add those elements into their movie. But the fact that it's afterwards and we're hearing this interview after Blink Twice came out, that's why I think a lot of people are going, whoa, all of us logical thinking people are looking at that and going, wait a second, that's interesting. Very interesting stuff. Misty Fisher, what's up? P words use the substances to make the victims seem like they're lying because their memories are broken, and it makes them seem like they're lying. Yes, it is true. Absolutely. You keep just pumping them with substances all day long to the point where everything's fragmented, everything's shattered. It's all broken up in the brain, right? So that could very well be what happened to her. She's coming in and out of things. She could have, and let's be real, because of all the things that she went through, maybe she did go to a hospital in Miami, and then after the hospital in Miami, she still wasn't feeling well, and then ended up going to a hospital in New York. That's possible. That's possible, but like I said, I don't know. Like I said, this is just the thing where we just ask questions. We just got to take what she said at face value and just let time do the rest. Mimi, thank you so much for the super sticker. I really do appreciate it. But I think that's the thing. We just got to let time do the rest of the work. There's another interview that's going to be coming out on Lionel B's show. Definitely go check it out. Obviously, that was not the full interview. Definitely go check out the full interview. It's nonstop. So I highly recommend you guys going and checking it out, because it's yeah. Heartbreaking stuff for sure. It's hard to watch, but it's definitely something we all should listen to and just let it be what it is. Take it at face value and let the rest just come out. Because like I said, the truth will come out. Here's the other thing too. I mean, if this is a lie, if this is not fully the truth, then the truth will come out. Here's another thing I do want to say. If this is not really her in this photo wearing the D&G shirt, you really think that the real victim's going to let a person act like it's her? I really doubt it. We will hear if this is not truly her. I truly believe that the Jane Doe, if it's not real, if it's not really her, I really do think that the real Jane Doe will make a statement through a lawyer. That's what I truly think. So let it percolate. We might hear something soon enough from somebody else going, the Jane Doe from D&G, wearing the D&G shirt, she speaks out and she says that's not her in that interview. And if that does happen, it'll be mind-blowing. But we're also here for it too, right? because we just want the truth. But then again, she could very well be telling the truth right here. Anything is possible. Anyway, guys, that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. Sit tight, guys, because more information's coming. Trust and believe. All right? Sit tight. More is coming. More is coming. But I do appreciate, let me just say this too. Big shout out to Lionel B, all right, for letting me use a chunks of the interview on the show. I really do appreciate it. Again, see, this is how you share, everybody. This is how you share. Please, the link is pinned to the top of the chat. Go over to his channel. Subscribe over there as well. Like his video. Tell him that I sent you over there. Show some love, because he put a lot of energy to make that interview happen. All of the interviews that he's done, that's a lot of energy and a lot of great editing as well, putting it all together and making it worthwhile for us to watch. All right? So definitely go check it out, pinned to the top of the chat, and it's in the description box down below. All right, then that's how you share other people's content on a show, respectfully. So that's the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. Big shout out to Lionel B. Much love to him too. Hit that like button down below, please and thank you. All right, if you appreciate the discussion, hit that like button down below. Let's not forget to crush that subscribe button, baby. Crush it. Hit that follow button as well if you're watching on other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble. Show some love. Let's build this family. Check out my join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon, patreon.com/thepascalshow. My locals, locals.com/thepascalshow. And also my merch. We got some dope merch going on right now. Some holiday sweaters. Big Nick energy. Okay, go check it out. We got some hoodies, t-shirts, etc. Go check it out. Trust me, you'll thank me later. All right? Make sure you do that. And of course, check out my GoFundMe. It's in the description box down below. I'm working on this amazing holiday special. I cannot wait for this one. It's going to be fun. It has nothing to do with crime. Oh, it's going to be wonderful. It's going to be wonderful. And we're just going to have a good time. So make sure you go, and if you can contribute, that would mean the world to me. Go to that GoFundMe link and contribute. A little goes a long way. All right, guys, it's time to get going. Much love to you guys. You guys are amazing. Have a great rest of your day. I'll be seeing you guys very soon. I got things to do, though. I'll be talking to you guys soon. Anyway, it's time to get going. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. We'll talk soon. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.